It's no longer enough to say that, hey, my infrastructure is safe or I'm writing secure code, but at the same time, you also have to understand how you're going to secure those APIs. Traceable is in the business of securing your APIs. Every business today is an API-driven business, but what people have forgot to do is get to know where those APIs exist, what type of data is carried through those APIs, and how you can protect those APIs. And Traceable is helping businesses do that now.
And why would the average consumer want to know about Traceable?
So let's say you're carrying your mobile app, which has a banking app in there. You better want to know that the bank that is actually serving you is protecting that data that you have trusted them with, and protecting the money that you've trusted them with that. That means that each of these mobile applications are in the background driven by APIs, which are serving those business services that way, right? That means that your bank, you as a consumer better know that the bank is actually securing those APIs and the data that flows through it, including your money.
And what would you say sets Traceable apart from its competitors?
One of the biggest differentiators that Traceable has is we have fundamentally changed the way you have to understand APIs from the ground up. So we have built a platform which can consume all of the data that the data is flowing through the APIs, which are serving the business interests. We consume that as part of an API data lake, and that API data lake forms one of the basic differentiators between us and the market and the competition in general, right? And the way we do that is this data lake, which has aspects of everything from an API's metadata to the API's data and the users that are actually accessing that APIs. We have built a true 360 degrees of API context that is required for securing these APIs.
And what would you say are the current trends we're seeing in the cybersecurity sector?
So one of the things, of course, the whole talk from an RSA perspective as an example is about code to cloud, right? So that means that you have to start to thinking about securing these APIs all the way from the moment the code is written, all the way into its deployment cycle. And as it flows through your infrastructures and everything else, it's no longer enough to say that, hey, my infrastructure is safe or I'm writing secure code, but at the same time, you also have to understand how you're going to secure those APIs. And one of the things that we have brought to market today, in fact, we launched it just yesterday and today, is Zero Trust API access, right? It's not enough Zero Trust. People talk about it in cybersecurity all the time. It's no longer Zero Trust is enough if you just say, hey, I'm securing my endpoints, I'm securing my infrastructure in terms of Zero Trust, but also you have to extend that to your APIs, because there are examples, countless examples that you can take where hackers were able to get access to all of the data associated with the APIs and the infrastructure without actually entering the infrastructure itself. That means that all of this access they were able to get through only through the APIs. That is the reason why we want to make sure that our business, our customers, and of course all the businesses out there start to think about Zero Trust for APIs as well. Because without having Zero Trust within the Zero Trust framework as part of the APIs, you're actually not securing your business.
So you actually recently made some big announcements. Tell me about them.
Yeah, so a couple of announcements for us, right? One is we talked about Zero Trust for API access. The other big one is our partnership with Wiz. Wiz, as you guys are all aware, they are in the business of protecting the infrastructure and everything else. From a code to cloud perspective, they're very critical part of that business, right? We use some of the data that's associated with what we capture from an eBPF perspective and integrate that with what Wiz is really good at is understanding the containers and everything else. We can tie the context from an API perspective to the infrastructure that is there, so that we understand the vulnerabilities that are associated, which Wiz can identify from a containers perspective. We bring that into the API context, right? That's huge that way. So Zero Trust for API access and Wiz partnership, those are two things we're excited about.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.